first question, how do you sell a city post-COVID?
Well, I really think you focus on the safety protocol that's in place. I think that there still is a bit of consumer concerns or lack of confidence in terms of travel. So you really want to make sure that individuals know what they can do to socially distance if that is a concern of theirs. Make sure they know what the protocol is tied to going into restaurants, museums, staying in hotels, and the safety that's associated with it. You know, I think the easy thing is to talk about how great our destination is and all the new things that are opening, and we want them to be able to come over, those that are visiting the city to enjoy all the aspects of our destination. But clearly, we've got to focus on safety.
Okay. 25 million visitors a year in the year before the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. 10% of that is international. So there's a distinct proportion of international visitors make up the overall DC experience. How important is it to attract those international visitors?
Well, at the end of the day, for us, it's economic development.
Sure.
And the reality is that it's the international visitors less than 10% of visitation, but over 36% of the spend by visitors. Sure. So as we're looking at markets that we want to grow, we see very much so the greatest opportunity to grow the international market from an economic perspective.
And moving into, once November 8th happens, I saw bumper bookings already once the date was announced. Are you expecting a good Christmas?
Yeah, we're anticipating a influx of visitation. You know, let's just face it, after 19 months of not being able to travel, it's a big deal that folks can actually travel again. So we're really excited about the opportunity to have the international visitor come back to the United States and, of course, to Washington. Easy non-stop flights from the UK to Washington, D.C.
And Ireland.
And, of course, Ireland.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about the opportunity to come, those that might not feel very comfortable in doing a layover. The thing about being a gateway city is that you don't have to.
Yeah.
And it's not as difficult in terms of the time zone change and or the amount of time on a physical flight. So,
hotel occupancy rates and hotel costs. We're seeing across the United States that hotel rates are generally lower than they were pre-pandemic. How is it in DC?
It's basically the same. I think when you really look at November being the opportunity for the international traveler to return, that's going into the softer period in terms of visitation, so therefore rates are traditionally more competitive.
Sure.
So as you're looking at coming out of a pandemic, or really life in a pandemic still, but travel reoccurring, you'll have an opportunity to really experience some really great rates and some great discounts.
There's always new attractions. DC is a great museum city, which we've all experienced, any of us who've been there. I know that there are some new openings, including the National Children's Museum.
Yes.
So for all the kids, or people traveling with kids, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Between the National Children's Museum, Planet Word, which is a new museum that is really focusing on how language has influenced global cultures. New monuments that have opened. The Eisenhower Memorial has just opened in Washington, D.C. A new World War II memorial has opened. A new American Indian memorial that is opening in Washington. And of course the celebrations, the 150th anniversary of the Smithsonian, which was a gift from the British to the United States. And of course there's 16 free museums, including the zoo. So we pride ourselves on the fact that you can do amazing things and socially distance, plus the fact that we're a value-added destination with so many free things to see and do.
And then finally, for agents specifically, you've revamped your agent platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the goal for us is to make it as easy as possible, to make sure that agents know exactly how to sell our destination. Of course, the new Silver Line, which will take visitors from Dulles Airport into Washington, D.C., opens next year. So the ease of getting into Washington, D.C., how inexpensive it is with the Silver Line to get into the city, as well as all the new attractions and itineraries in which we suggest agents offer to potential visitors.
Elliott Ferguson, a pleasure.
Always.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.